If I told you that a plant small enough to fit on your palm could quietly be worth more than a full bag of cement in a few months, would you stay till the end of this video? Today I am not talking about tomatoes, peppers, or anything you see on every street corner. Welcome back to Gardens Heaven, the home of smart gardening for people who want beauty, peace, and profit without breaking the bank. If you are new here, you are not late at all. You are right on time. This channel is all about using what you already know about gardening and quietly flipping it into something more valuable, something uncommon, something that works even if you have limited space or limited money. And for my returning family, you already know how we do it here. Simple ideas, calm guidance, and strategies that actually make sense in real-life gardens. Today we are diving into the side of gardening. Most people walk past without noticing, but a few smart growers are using it to build a steady income plant by plant. Before we go deeper, take a calm second and gently tap the like button if you enjoy garden ideas that feel different but practical. Subscribe to Gardens Heaven if you want more videos like this that help your garden work for you, not against your pocket, and leave a comment telling me where you are watching from and whether you have ever grown a cactus or succulent before. Trust me, by the end of this video, you might look at those tiny plants in a completely new way. When most people hear cactus or succulent, they picture dusty roadside plants or tiny decorations sitting on office tables. What they do not see is the quiet market behind them. There is a whole world of collectors who pay serious money for plants that look simple, slow, and almost boring at first glance. These buyers are not in a rush, they are patient, and that is exactly why this works so well for home gardeners like you. Rare cacti and succulents reward patience more than speed, and January gives you the calm, controlled start these plants love. Let me gently pull you into the first idea: growing plants that do not shout for attention but whisper value. One example is living stone succulents, also called lithops. To someone passing by, they look like small stones lying in soil, almost like nothing is growing there at all. But collectors know better. These plants are slow, unique, and impossible to fake. When you start them early in the year, you give them months to settle, split, and develop strong patterns. By the end of the season, a small tray of healthy lithops can be worth far more than common leafy plants that demand constant watering and feeding. What makes this powerful is how familiar the care already is. You already know how to avoid overwatering. You already know how sunlight works. This is not learning gardening from zero. It is simply applying your existing knowledge to a quieter plant with a louder payoff. January helps because temperatures are mild, water loss is low, and mistakes are easier to correct. You are not fighting heat stress or heavy rains. You are guiding growth slowly and intentionally. Another smart move at this stage is focusing on plants that grow ugly before they grow beautiful. Some rare cacti look strange or uneven in their early months, and many gardeners give up on them too soon. That is where opportunity lives. Plants like crested cacti or naturally deformed succulents often sell for more because no two ever look the same. When you plant them now and let them grow undisturbed, you are allowing nature to create a shape that cannot be copied. That uniqueness is what collectors pay for, not perfection. As you listen to this, pause and think about the space you already have. A windowsill, a balcony corner, a small shelf near sunlight. That is enough. These plants do not ask for much room, but they reward consistency. The message here is simple but powerful. Do not chase fast harvests. Build quiet value. Plant slowly, grow steady, and let time do the heavy work for you. Stay with me, because in the next part I will talk about the exact type of soil and container choices that most people get wrong, and how fixing just that one thing can double the value of these plants without spending extra money. Now let us talk about the part most gardeners underestimate: the foundation everything sits on. Soil and containers may look like small details, but for rare cacti and succulents, they quietly decide whether your plant stays ordinary or becomes something collectors want to pay for. Many people lose money here without even realizing it, not because they lack skill, but because they use the same soil they use for every other plant. These plants come from harsh environments, rocky places where water disappears fast and roots learn to breathe. When you use heavy soil that stays wet for too long, the plant survives but never shines. What works better is a loose, gritty mix that feels almost uncomfortable to touch. Think sand, crushed stones, and just enough organic matter to hold nutrients. The goal is not to feed the plant heavily, but to train it to grow compact, firm, and well-shaped. Collectors look for tight growth and clear patterns, not fast size. Containers matter just as much, but not in the way people think. Bigger is not better here. When a pot is too large, the soil stays wet for too long, and the plant grows lazy roots. A smaller container forces the roots to work, and that stress creates stronger form and better color. Even simple plastic pots work, as long as they drain well. You do not need fancy ceramic pots to create value. You need control. January is perfect for this, because growth is slow and roots have time to adjust without shock. There is also a quiet trick many growers do not talk about. Using slightly shallow containers encourages surface root development, which helps rare succulents show their full shape above the soil. This is especially important for plants like living stones and button cacti, where half of the beauty is how they sit in the soil, not just how tall they grow. That small visual difference is often the reason one plant sells quickly while another sits unsold. As you set this up, remind yourself that this is not about rushing. Every decision you make now compounds later. Good soil, the right pot, and patience turn an ordinary cutting into a collector piece over time. If this is already changing how you see your plant setup, quietly tap the like button so more gardeners like you can find this video. In the next part, I will share how watering, or more accurately not watering, is the secret line between killing these plants and quietly increasing their value. This is where many gardeners lose everything, not because they neglect their plants, but because they care too much. Water feels like love, but for rare cacti and succulents, too much love is the fastest way to destroy value. The real skill here is knowing when to step back and let the plant rest. These plants are designed to survive dry seasons, and when you respect that rhythm, they reward you with stronger form, better color, and slower, more valuable growth. In January, watering should feel almost uncomfortable. You water less than you think you should, and you wait longer than feels normal. The soil must dry out completely before you even consider adding water again. This drying period forces the plant to store energy, not waste it. Collectors can tell when a plant has been raised this way. The body feels firm, the skin looks clean, and the shape stays tight instead of stretched and weak. There is also a quiet visual sign that tells you when a plant is ready for water. Instead of watching the soil, watch the plant itself. Many rare succulents slightly wrinkle or soften when they truly need moisture. That is your signal, not the calendar. When you respond to the plant instead of a schedule, you stop guessing and start growing with intention. This single habit separates casual growers from serious ones. Now here is something familiar but used in an uncommon way. Morning sunlight and airflow. You already know plants need light, but for these plants, gentle morning sun helps harden the skin and deepen natural colors without stress. Good airflow dries excess moisture quickly and prevents rot without chemicals. You are not adding anything new, you are simply using what you already know with more precision. If this part is making you rethink how often you water your plants, pause for a moment and drop a comment saying slow growth below. It helps me know you are following along, and it helps this video reach gardeners who need to hear this. In the next part, I will show you how choosing the right rare varieties, not many varieties, is how small growers quietly win in this space. Here is where the quiet money really sits. Not in growing many plants, but in choosing the right few. Most gardeners spread themselves thin, buying everything that looks interesting. Serious collectors do the opposite. They focus on plants that have a story, a pattern, or a trait that cannot be rushed or copied. This is where you stop thinking like a hobbyist and start thinking like a patient grower. Consider slow-growing succulents with natural markings, strange symmetry, or unusual color shifts. Some varieties change shade, depending on stress, light, or age. To the untrained eye, they look simply, but collectors recognize maturity immediately. A plant grown slowly from January, with controlled water and light, develops deeper color and clearer patterns by the end of the year. That visual maturity is what makes someone choose your plant over 10 others. Another powerful angle is focusing on plants that naturally multiply slowly. When a plant produces offsets at its own pace, each new growth becomes more valuable. You are not rushing propagation. You are allowing quality to form. This is familiar gardening knowledge, used in an uncommon way. Instead of forcing more plants, you protect the mother plant and let it decide when to give you more. That patience shows in the final result. There is also something important about reputation. Even at a small scale, when people know your plants are raised slowly and correctly, they trust your growing style. Trust increases value without you saying a word. January is the beginning of that story. Every month you care properly adds another layer of credibility to your plants, even before they ever leave your garden. If you are enjoying this calm, steady approach to gardening, take a second to subscribe to Gardens Heaven. It helps this channel grow, and it tells me to keep making videos that focus on smart, realistic garden wealth. In the next part, I will explain how timing and patience turn these plants into profit without rushing to sell too early. Now let us slow everything down even more, because timing is where many people sabotage their own success. Growing rare cacti and succulents is not just about planting, it is about knowing when not to act. The biggest mistake new growers make is selling too early. A plant that looks healthy at 6 months can look extraordinary at 12, and that difference is where value quietly doubles. January planting gives you a long runway. Instead of watching days, you watch seasons. As the months pass, the plant hardens, the shape becomes clearer, and the surface develops character. Small marks, subtle color changes, and compact growth all signal maturity. Collectors pay for that feeling of age, even if the plant is still small. Age in these plants is not about size, it is about presence. There is also power in resisting comparison. You may see others selling faster or posting brighter plants online, but rushing your own process often leads to weaker growth. Your job is not to compete on speed, but on quality. When you wait, you are letting your plants become something harder to replace. That rarity is what creates demand. This is also the stage where observation becomes your best tool. You are not doing more work, you are simply paying closer attention. Notice how the plant reacts to light, how it responds after watering, how slowly it changes. These details guide your next move without guesswork. Over time, this awareness becomes instinct, and that is something no guidebook can sell. Right here, pause the video for a second and ask yourself a simple question. Am I growing plants to sell quickly, or am I growing them to be chosen? That shift in thinking changes everything. In the next part, I will share how presentation, not decoration, is what makes buyers feel connected to your plants before they even touch them. This is the part most people skip, yet it is the silent difference between an average plant and one that feels special the moment someone sees it. Presentation is not about expensive pots or fancy labels. It is about allowing the plant to tell its story clearly. When a rare cactus or succulent is well presented, the buyer does not feel sold to, they feel drawn in. Start with cleanliness and balance. Remove dead bits, brush off soil from the surface, and let the natural form show. A clean top layer of small stones or grit does more than look nice. It frames the plant and makes the shape stand out. This is familiar, but when done intentionally, it creates an uncommon effect. The plant looks calm, confident, and complete. Light placement matters here as well. Soft natural light brings out texture and color without exaggeration. When you place your plant where light falls gently from one side, the shadows reveal depth and age. Collectors notice these things, even if they cannot explain why one plant feels better than another. You are not staging, you are revealing. There is also something powerful about consistency. When all your plants follow the same quiet presentation style, people begin to recognize your work. That recognition builds trust. Trust builds value. You are no longer just selling a plant, you are offering a growing philosophy, and that starts from how you present even a single pot. If this part is opening your eyes, gently tap the like button and share this video with one person who loves plants but struggles to see profit in them. In the next part, I will talk about where and how to connect with the right buyers without shouting or underpricing your work. Now let us talk about the buyers, because growing value is only half of the journey. Finding the right eyes for your plants is what completes it. Rare cacti and succulents are not impulse buys. The people who want them are usually patient, observant, and already educated. Your job is not to convince them, but to make your plants visible in the right calm spaces. Start small and quiet. Local plant meetups, small garden groups, and online communities focused on specific plant types are often better than large open markets. In these spaces, people speak the same language as your plants. They notice slow growth, clean form, and healthy roots. When you enter these spaces with quality, price becomes a secondary conversation. One important thing here is confidence. Underpricing out of fear sends the wrong message. A well-grown plant carries the weight of time and care. When you price it with calm confidence, you attract buyers who respect the process. Those are the buyers who return, recommend you, and wait for your next plant. You are not selling volume. You are building relationships. Storytelling also plays a role, even if it is simple. Saying a plant was started in January and grown slowly through the seasons adds depth. It tells the buyer this plant was not rushed. That familiarity mixed with rarity creates trust. People are more comfortable paying for something when they understand its journey. If this is helpful so far, take a moment to comment below and tell me which part of this process surprised you the most. I read the comments, and your feedback shapes future videos. So to quietly pull it all together, rare cacti and succulents are more than just small beautiful plants. They are a chance to turn patience, observation, and simple gardening skills into something with real value. Planting in January gives you control, slow growth, and the time to shape each plant into a piece collectors notice. By focusing on the right soil, careful watering, intentional presentation, and choosing varieties that reward patience, you are not just growing plants, you are growing opportunity. Remember, it is not about rushing or having hundreds of plants. It is about quiet, consistent care, letting time and nature do the heavy lifting, while you observe, adjust, and prepare for the moment someone recognizes the value in what you have created. Even small spaces can produce rare, sought-after plants if you treat them with thoughtfulness and respect. Thank you so much for staying with me through this journey. If you found even one idea useful, please like this video, subscribe to Gardens Heaven for more tips that turn gardens into quiet wealth, and leave a comment below, telling me which plant you are excited to start growing this January. Sharing your progress inspires others and helps us all learn together. Until next time, keep your garden calm, your care intentional, and your patience rewarded.